Carnival Personnel was recorded in a dank, moldy basement.
Joe and Jacques, it's Carnival Personnel. Joe and Jacques, to their wives this show is their personal hell. Well, the show sounds the same every single week. Pats are great, Trump is lame, and Joe barely speaks. Who you think still listening?
Who you think still listening?
Besides Jim and Biff, yeah.
And don't forget Richard.
Here's a random review. No one cares about you two, Joe and Jacques.
Joe and Jacques, Joe and Jacques, Joe and Jacques.
Hey, Biff, what do you call a guy with a rubber toe?
Oh. I don't know, Jacques. What do you call a guy with a rubber toe, was it?
Roberto.
That was a merry bomb indeed. Is there another awful joke in that magic bag of yours? You've been pretty naughty this year with these jokes.
No, there's not a bad joke in there. There's nothing but gold. Here's another gold bullion to throw your way. Hey, Biff, have you heard of Bert, the brown-nosed reindeer?
Well, I'd need him to help pull my sleigh, I'm sure. That's the thing that I would say as Biff.
He's just as fast as the other reindeers, just doesn't stop as well. Is that a shitty joke?
That's a naughty word indeed.
Oh, hello, everybody. Welcome to Carnival Personnel. This is Jacques.
Hey, this is Joe. How are you?
And is Biff out visiting the San Diego fishmonger? Is that why he wasn't able to jump on today? He literally, I know it sounds fishy, but he had in the group text said something like there's some fishmonger kind of thing that he wanted to get to, or he called me a monger and he doesn't want to be near me. But either way, it's just Joe and I gonna do a little house cleaning, a little end of the year wrap up, a little closing the books on another fucking fantastic year and the fall of Western civilization on the Lord's year of 2025. So we'll just get it right going right out of the chute here. Joe, how was your Christmas? How was the family's Christmas?
It was, pretty tender and mild. Just like Jesus. It was, we stayed at home, which is my favorite way of celebrating Christmas. Just not leaving the house, drawing the shades, turning on the alarms so that they alert me to anybody that's trying to get near us. No, nobody trying to get near us. We just stayed home. It was fine. Our kids are older now, so it's less. I think I got more toys this year for myself than anybody else got anything. It was fine. But your Christmas must have been.
Yeah, it's always great
because it's always great.
It really is. We got a white Christmas this year. It was nice. It was a light dusting.
Just like Trump wanted.
Yep. Just what I mean. I can finally say white Christmas again, Joe.
Right. You can say white power too. I don't know. There's no stuff.
Oh,
apparently.
No, it was really nice. Here's a funny story. Our kids are older, not as old as Joe's kids, but 18, 15. The year I was born. Anyways, shut up, Jacques. They desperately needed new mattresses. So a few weeks ago, we had them meet us at Jordan's Furniture to pick out some mattresses, and they were very bummed when management had then told them at the store. It's like, well, this is your, they saw the price tags and they were like, oh shit. And we're like, yeah, these things aren't cheap. And management then said, well, these are your Christmas presents, which instantly caused a kerfuffle that rippled through the Jacques household because the audacity that was going to be their gift. Now, that's not the only thing these entitled little pricks got. But here's the funny thing. So they got delivered the day before on the 24th, which I felt bad. Like these guys are working that hard, Christmas Eve. But you know what? Hey, Bob, Bob Cratchit's got to, keep the nose to the grindstone. Anyways, so Christmas morning comes out, and management wrapped all the presents were co-presents between the two boys. So it's like open the ones in the blue boxes together, open the ones in the silver, and the boys freaked out with pure glee and near euphoria when they simultaneously opened the wrapped pillows. They got new pillows. They were super excited. They were a little indignant about getting really nice new beds, but the excitement of getting new pillows, was like, I was also, our youngest is a little hard to shop for because he's all in on something until he's not, and then it's like, why the fuck would you get me this, you piece of shit? Kind of hey, welcome to life with a kid on the spectrum, everybody. And but when management and I were in London, went to Camden Market. If you don't know what it is, it's a huge, like, open air, continuous flea market of small shops, specialty stores, just great little food trucks, but not food trucks. They're kind of like food trucks, but permanent installation food trucks, but not really restaurants. River runs through it, little footbridges over it. Some of these establishments have been there for 150 plus years. And yeah, I don't know, it's a huge thing. Found several football jersey shops, vintage jersey shops, and there was one I spent a good half hour, 45 minutes in, just digging, and the sales guys were not pushy, but had very special price for me for many jerseys, of which I didn't want. Like, dude, I'm looking for specific jerseys. It's like, I'm looking for a Neymar jersey. Oh yeah, Neymar. And like, no, I don't want the Neymar PSG one. I want the because different teams and stuff. And plus, I just enjoyed, looking for them. And then I handed the clerk like 3 jerseys. One of them had like a clear coffee stain or something on it, and he was like, oh, this. And I said, hold these. I'm going to be back. And he probably thought, oh, yeah, sure, this guy's going to be back. I did. Came back like 2-3 hours later because I looked at other shops, and I Christianed him down on, got these 3 great jerseys for 75 pounds. I had to take one of them to a dry cleaner, so it cost like about $10 when I got here. But it was all worth it because he was so super psyched when he's like, oh my God, at this jersey. Oh, a Vinicius Jr. jersey. But it was a Champions League jersey, which means nothing to anybody but Dave Lapointe and me. I will say I was a little disappointed with his reaction to one of the jerseys because I got it for him. It's his 90s Man United player. Who wore the number 7 after David Beckham, but before Cristiano Ronaldo, again, means nothing to anybody but Dave Lapointe, John Hunt, and myself. But it's this guy, this French guy, Carlos, who I absolutely loved. Fun fact, he starred in an Oasis video. He's one of the players. He's one of the 4 or 5 players that make me really wish I was following soccer in the 90s. I have no idea where I would have watched, a Man United game in 1994 here.
That's what satellite dishes were for.
Yeah, when I first moved to L.A., I wasn't aware. It wasn't until I moved down to the beach. So I moved to Santa Monica, Venice in 2003, right on Santa Monica, like a 3rd Street promenade. Maybe in a 2-block radius, there are 4 pubs. One's a Scottish pub, one's an Irish pub, one's a British pub, and I think one's a German pub that are open and rocking and just popping off at 5 o'clock in the morning because they're watching the games like they had those dishes. So anyways, I'm a little disappointed because he was really super excited to get it. And I was kind of hoping he'd be like, oh, yeah, it's fine. Do you want it, Papa? I kind of got it for me, thinking, well, he'll like it, but he won't love it. And yes, and so I got myself nothing. There was a tiny shop, like I'm talking tiny, like walk-in closet type tiny, that was packed to the ceiling with anime stuff. Like and again, had a rifle through it. The clerks were great. I'm like, they were like, oh, we have this, we have this, we have this. They're like, no, he wants something from JoJo, something from Bleach, something from Jujutsu Kaisen. It's like, oh, Jujutsu Kaisen, like this 4-foot statue. I'm like, I'm getting on a plane in 12 hours. I'm not buying an extra suitcase for this. But it was nice. So it was tough, just like waiting for the last like 6-7 weeks to give it to them, also hoping that they're past the point where they're going to rifle through the hidden places and ruin Christmas by finding it early. So they got stuff that they really liked. 2 days before, I had to go to Lowe's to get some, provisions, to fix some stuff around the house. And much to my delight, they were half off the animatronic stuff, and there's a inside the house 7-foot Jack Skellington in a Santa suit who has like 20 different lines of dialogue. It's not like he just says 1 or 2 things. My son so the wife walked in, she posted this on Bookface. She has like kind of this like purplish black light thing that kind of backlit it, so it kind of really looks awesomely haunted and gothic. And we all enjoyed it. The hands move until my oldest son walked in the living room, says, oh, he's doing 6-7. And it's like, oh, if you know what that, Joe doesn't know what that means. And I'm so happy.
I know the meme, but I don't know what the hand movement.
Oh, you go like this with your hands when you say it. It's part of the.
You
yeah.
kind of juggle you're juggling 2 big testicles. Yeah.
Yes. No better way to put that.
Or boobs.
Yeah, I go with boobs. You know what I mean? 2 boobs. That's what he takes us for. So it's nice, It's also funny. So that's an indoor thing. But, as it was snowing, I'm sitting on one of the chairs. I'm looking at the wife's pink Barbie Christmas tree she got last year. And on the back porch year round is this 7-8 foot Gothic plague animatronic we got that stopped working last year, but it still looks great. And the way I was sitting as the snow was coming down, it reminded me of every meme I saw from that TV show Wednesday this year, where her roommate is sunshine and rainbows, and
right.
and
it's like right down they're sharing a room and they split the room half between them.
I took a picture and I sent it, which my wife loved. I just realized I am married to an Edith. And I'm also married to a Wednesday at the same time. And so it is. So Christmas here was great. It was fun. Going to New Jersey. This drops, as this is dropping, I'm probably on the way to visit my friend Woody, who rents a house right on the water at the Jersey Shore for a month or 2. He's from LA, but to get out of LA, he always hankers for the Jersey Shore, which he grew up on. And it's one of those things where it's this nice 2-story, 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom house on the water that he rents for like $2,500 a month in January and February. That rents for $25,000, no exaggeration, May through October, or May through September. Yeah, because it is, again, right on the shore. You know what I mean? Which is not ridiculous, because if you're getting a hotel room, you've got a 2-bedroom hotel suite, you'd be $400 or $500 a month, or $400 or $500 a night. Yeah. Times 30 nights. So, anyways, that was our Christmas. Christmas was great. Again, it sounds like lavish, but it is, but again,
you're going to be dead one day. Who fucking cares?
We can afford it. We're 2-income family. The wife has 2 jobs, as I like to say. But it was, it was, it didn't have to go anywhere, which is really nice. I did Christmas get up. I didn't wake the boys up because my sister and her oldest met my mom and my father at their house. The rest of my family does a big Christmas thing where they all meet at my sister's for brunch. Then they all like go to a movie and then go to my brother's house for game night. And I love that for them. It's a tradition started when I was in LA and my brother and sister moved near each other. And it's nothing my family is at all interested in being part of. So it's nice to see them together and posting on Facebook. And it's nice that I think I sent it to Joe. What did I send you that management and I watched on Christmas? We were watching some 80s movie.
Oh, you're watching Three Amigos.
Yes, we watched Three Amigos. That was what management and I did Christmas night because, the boys adjourned to their sloth caves. You know what I mean? Never to be seen again. The only time we see them once they leave the living room area is if one of them busts through their door like Kramer to sprint upstairs and yell joyfully at the brother because they just saw some trailer for some anime thing drop, or the other one run downstairs yelling and screaming because they're on some multiplayer game with 2 or 3 mutual friends of theirs and one of their friends did something really great or really stupid that they're re-watching together and the video capture, play the game.
Another way to get the kids out is to turn the modem off.
You know what? But then I have to spend time with them.
Yeah.
Then there's time now. So yeah, no, it was great. Looking forward to the new year. But I didn't give Joe any prep time. But so I'll start the year in review. Carnival Personnel had some fun guests. We had some fun guests this year.
We did.
I was going through the guest list and some duds, I'll put it out there. Some guests. Absolutely. I now know what it is to be a reluctant dentist pulling teeth from people who don't want it.
No, all of our guests were great. We're not insulting to any of our former guests.
No. I'm not insulting. Yes, I am. I will 100% say how disappointing it is that the majority of guests did not even repost the podcast on their pages. That's something that little disappointing. Is it the most disappointing thing in human nature to be discovered in 2025? No. But on the other hand, the guests that I did have on, or that we had on that didn't repost, was still fun. Good conversations. I learned things about comedy or whatever, so my selfish goals were met. But then there were some really standout fun guests that we wanted to have on, or I did for a while. We Nick Sano, like the comic,
the 100 years of Boston
Robert
comedy.
Note. Yeah, now he has a new I forget what his new thing. He has a new thing.
Boston Comedy Radio.
Yeah, he has Boston Comedy Radio.
Yeah. Is it called Boston Comedy Radio?
Yep.
Yeah.
24/7 Boston Comedy Radio. It is fantastic. I listen to less podcasts like this year. Like I know Titus podcast and other podcasts. They're still great. I'll tune in, but I listen to a lot of Boston Comedy Radio because he'll play record. If you were a Boston comic who released a cocktail party album in the late 50s, he is playing it. If you have a stand-up album, from a Stephen Wright from the 80s, he's playing it. Stand-up clip. So it's fun. I do. But he was a fun guest, somebody who loves comedy almost as much as we do. Having a conversation with somebody who really can have a conversation about how this led to that, you know what I mean?
And it was nice to see him in person too. I mean, we got to see him in the flesh when, unfortunately, it was at one of your shows. But it's kind of like when you see your family at a funeral. It's like, the circumstances, but at least we got to see each other.
But we got to see him at the historical Nick's Comedy Stop, which, you know what? Right. If you're going to meet up with Nick Zano for the first time in person, not a better place than at Nick's Comedy Stop. to be
Very
honest.
appropriate, yes.
You know, so that was great. Jeremy Shipp, Winding Road Pictures, the absolute fun film buff from Los Angeles. I found, not met him in person. I was hoping my last trip out to LA, I could have grabbed lunch with him, but he was visiting his family back east, or so he says. No, I'll be going out there probably April-ish, but it really looks like I'll be out there 2 months of summer. We will meet up. But if you like movies, if you like behind-the-scenes movies, if you like somebody who seeks out historical film locations in Los Angeles and then walks you through the scenes that were shot there, Winding Road Pictures, Jeremy Shipp. Winding Path. Excuse me, Jeremy. Winding Path. One of the best ones he did a couple years ago. It is where RKO Pictures used to be, and he used the GeoMap satellite imagery to find this new housing development where there's a cul-de-sac, and he ran the path that was run in Bedford Falls, during
By George Bailey.
during Bailey's headed home.
When he comes home, yes.
The old savings and loans. Merry Christmas to you, Mr. Potter.
Happy New Year to you in jail.
So he had to literally run through people's yards without permission, but he AB'd,
Kind of
George
like Ferris Bueller at the end, when he was running home, he had to run through people's pools and barbecues and yards and stuff.
So I mean, and then look, it doesn't happen often, but the numerous times I drag my good friend Joe through the gates of Hades, either coming to one of my comedy shenanigans or doing this podcast, he's always doing me a service. But on the occasion that it really strikes a happy note with him and him and Jeremy breaking down their Back to the Future, hierarchy and making their arguments of why it goes 1, 3, 2 for both of them. Those are the moments where I'm like, yeah, this is fun. It is really fun when occasionally we talk about something that Joe gives, I'm not give a fuck about, but absolutely like lights you up like a Christmas tree. So that was a great podcast. And then the top 3 rounds out with Robbie Prince and Ethan Prince, the father and son stand up. I did that one solo. Robbie Prince, my age, but I think he won the 2nd annual Boston Comedy Festival. And literally at the 2nd annual Boston Comedy Festival, he was recruited to be a cruise ship guy and has been doing that most of the last 25 years. I mean, he did colleges, but now he has a 15-year-old son, I think, just turned 16, who's been doing comedy full time. So it was really great to talk to, the Ken Griffey and Ken Griffey Jr. of Boston comedy. It was great to, shit on Ethan together with his dad, but they're first of all, really good dudes, really good comics. Robbie, again, is somebody a year and a half ago I had heard of, but I didn't know because, ever since, I fell down this rabbit hole. And as I was falling off the cliff, I reached out and Joe nicely put his hand to save me, but I pulled him in instead. It was one of those things. I'm drowning him with me, but Robbie has been doing a lot more locally like the last year, which I've got to do 3 shows with him. And I won't mention names, but I've been on shows or been to a couple of shows with Robbie. I was running a couple of shows that I wasn't on, that I was helping run, that Robbie was on with a couple other real household Boston names, and hands down lit the stage on fire. The other comics were good. They delivered as expected, were great. But I got to tell you, Robbie, shooting to the top of the chart. I was going to do a Casey. You could do a Casey about him going number one, but But yeah, so those three podcasts were the highlights for me.
Oh my! I mean, listen. Do you have more to talk about? Because I'm looking down the list of 2025 sideshows, and I'll just blaze.
Yeah. No, those were the guests that really. Those were my favorite guests. Those are my top three guests.
Right, well, everybody else, you suck. And here are the ones that sucked for Jacques. According to Jacques, these are the guests that sucked in 2025. Count them down, the suckiest guests of the podcast.
No one said anyone was a sucky guest, but we had some fun.
Yeah, I mean, we started off January with Emily Raskowski, a comedian, social worker.
I thought that was last year.
No, see, it's Monday, January 26th.
Okay, I think we recorded in December and it didn't drop till then. So yes, I would have Emily on there. But don't mention the other guests so no one feels bad. But
I'm mentioning all the bad guests.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
So count down the worst guests of 2025, according to Jacques, on Carnival Personnel. Well, I mean, I think you're also glossing over, maybe at least give this guy an honorable mention. I mean, reporter Matt Shearer from
Oh,
WBZ.
shit. Dude, again, time means nothing to me. Time means nothing to me.
Who didn't prepare for this list?
Matt Shearer, if you are not following SHEER, musician, how do you Shearer? Is there an ER? How do you say his name?
It's Matt Shearer, like Harry Shearer, but
okay.
SHEARER. WBZ radio.
Reporter. I was using numbers and stuff.
Did I catch a niner in there?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah,
sorry,
so
apologies.
Matt Shearer, his work on Instagram is second to none as far as like local reporting goes.
1,000%.
He'll go and deep dive into like the most granular, weird, obscure Boston sites, stories, people, just and then like if he's got shit, I got to file a report in 24 hours. Let me just drive along, Newbury Street or something, and walk along Newbury Street and get man on the street reports. He
brought to our attention, probably, maybe, arguably, yours and mine all-time favorite, snubbed by the Oscars, independent short.
I forget.
Maybe took place at a Asian-themed restaurant on Route 1. Maybe starred everybody's favorite. Look, Al Roker, yeah, you can go fuck yourself. Everybody's favorite weatherman, person.
Yeah, that's right. There was an Al Caprillion short from, God, what was it, the 2010s or something like that? Yeah, I forget the name of it already, but I did look it up. Al Caprillion was a local weatherman up here. Maybe he still is.
Yeah.
New Hampshire.
He does the local weather. He phones it in, and by that I mean he doesn't go to the studio. But the local Lowell radio station is one of the places he does his morning weather reports on.
Right, and then he starred in some short about like him trying to find like his true love or something like that on an island. I forget how it
Kowloon's. He met up with Kowloon.
Yeah, right. Yes,
I think it's like Kowloon Connection or something. But
yes. God, I mean, it's all a believer. Time means nothing to you. Experiences mean nothing to me because I just have them and then I wash them away. But just going through, we had another honorable mention and another gentleman that I was able to see a couple of times in person. The lovely overweight champ, Tim Ciampa.
So one of the best shows I did this year was, surprisingly, I was like, it's kind of a back of the restaurant show in Grafton, hotbed of comedy, but it was a packed room. The great Dan Cray and his beloved, made it to that show, but I got to hang out with, Tim for a few hours, who is a very, very, very cerebral comedian. Like he's very thoughtful in his comic, well crafted jokes. Some of my, he has this great bit. I don't know if you remember this, but his parents were teachers who taught for a few years in Portugal, and they did not speak much Portuguese when they got there. And when they would meet people, they would tell them, it's like, oh, we don't speak much Portuguese. And then people would say, no, you're talking Portuguese now. It's like, well, we speak it a little. And come to find out several months later, they were saying, you don't speak much Portuguese. And then the people would say, we're speaking Portuguese now. Well, you speak a little.
Oh, man.
I asked if that was a true story. And he's like, 1,000%. So yeah, the overweight champ, that is his handle. I'm not giving the guy a wrestling belt. I'm just saying that is his Instagram handle. Give him a good follow, the overweight champ.
And then a couple of weeks later, you had the pleasure of speaking to Sid Singh. He was also, he was American human rights lawyer and also a comedian, which is,
Yeah, no, he was doing comedy, one of those typical immigrant stories, kid of an immigrant story. His parents came here from India to give him a better life. They have him, and he grows up, being, hardworking, good in school, but going through college became quite the disappointment by going to stand up full time and doing well. But to appease his Indian parents, goes and gets a lottery, but he still did stand up full time. He's a human rights lawyer, won a case at this, like him with the team he was on, won a civil rights case at the Supreme Court level, I think in 2021 or 2019, something like that, against the previous Trump administration, but then got a writing job on a Comedy Central show in London. Very excited, gets over there. It instantly goes on hiatus because of COVID. He gets trapped over there because of COVID. And then he is a working comedian. If you follow him, he has a couple specials out, really great, really great. I mean, again, if you like political humor, if you like really smart humor, he is your guy. But yeah, he had zoomed in from like a show, a weekend show. I think I talked to him on a Saturday. He had just done a Friday night show and was doing a Saturday night show in like Amsterdam.
And that was Sid Singh.
Yep, Sid Singh.
So, and following that, a couple of weeks later in April was Paul D'Angelo, another comic and a district attorney.
Yeah, 20-year assistant district attorney who moonlit as a comic before it got to the point where, yeah, he was making more money doing comedy and loving it,
All right. Yeah. And so he was a good guest. And also, then scrolling through the history, we had Cam K. Morton on from Glovebox Comedy back in July. I think he was another solo guest that you had spoken with. And then Kathy Farris, we interviewed her back in August. Right? Was it we? Yeah, we.
Yeah. She,
I can't remember where I was back.
Headlining stand-up comic. She booked some of the Tobin rooms, but her true passion turns out to be wine cork bottle art.
Yes, she makes little figurines out of wine corks. So, which you do at some point. And I think that's. I don't know if that's pre-menopause or post-menopause. I think somewhere in that range. No, I think we all eventually become artists in our own way through other mediums. Because talking into a microphone can get boring and stale after a couple of decades.
Well, very few people know that you mostly express yourself through the medium of interpretive dance. And if you haven't seen Joe just work through the novels of James Joyce through his dance, you are sadly missing out.
You are, because I mostly do them in the shower. So you're not going to be able to.
I thought that was a slip and fall, but you know what I
mean? Then later in the year, in October, you had interviewed with Jason Merrill, another comedian, right?
Yeah,
I believe. Yes,
yeah, from the great city of Lawrence, Mass.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got to stop Lawrence from putting out these comics because
yeah
too many of them.
Well, that piece of shit Anthony Eugenio's from Lawrence,
I I know.
That strike.
I thought legislation would have been passed after Anthony Eugenio.
Yeah,
became a
right.
comic out of
Thank
Lawrence.
you. Well, Jason preceded him, but yeah. Well, Anthony, don't forget, piece of shit from Lawrence, piece of shit Portuguese. I mean, just what the fuck, you know?
Right. And then our last, previous sideshow guest, John Moses, another comedian. You love the comedians. I mean, you know,
yeah. Yep.
this is
Canadian from Toronto. You know. Yep. He's well, we remember that in last year, Tyler Morrison was one of the best guests we ever had. He was, you know, he has like 4 or 5 specials out. Please go watch. Well, look, if you like Anthony Jeselnik with more energy and a Canadian politeness to him, Tyler Morrison is your guy. But him and John Moses, they do that Fight Story podcast. Both great guests, both fun guys. But yeah, you're right. You know, yes, my top 5 would be, of course, Emily, who, you know, we share the love of traveling globally to see bands we love. You know, hers is the Backstreet Boys and New Kids Backstreet Boys. She just went to Vegas for that. Yeah. Matt Shearer, WBC, truly, and I said this to him on the show that see him while you can locally, because I think we lose him sooner or later to a national platform. I mean, I really do. You know,
well, it won't be 60 Minutes.
You know, no. I think he has a soul. Yeah, but then, you know, Nick Sano was just, look, you know, if Nick Sano wanted to start a different sort of let's talk about the writing staff of TV shows from the 50s podcast on Boston Comedy Radio, I think we would call Joe Katz.
Yes.
Me, you, and we would pal up with. But again, the fact that
they could do it without us.
They actually, you know what? Yes. Both much smarter, both funnier. Yes,
We're just
good call.
interlopers, really. You know. But then also, I want to also talk about some of the highlights we had outside of the podcast that were podcast adjacent.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
I mean, I'm going to start right at the top. I mean, in April, you had the opportunity to through the Boston Comedy Festival connections with Jim McHugh, you were able to have Wayne Russell, another fellow podcaster and comedian of yours, and myself meet the legendary Emo Phillips.
Probably, arguably, one of the best nights comedy adjacent related that you and I have ever shared. Yes. I mean, we didn't do a meet and greet. We didn't say hello, have our picture taken, move on. We didn't go to a great comedy show, have a great time, do a meet and greet, and move on. We legit hung out with that guy.
Well, that, and ironically, I helped him coordinate his meet and greet with the rest of the people who attended the roundabout that evening.
And again, to do it with Wayne, again, like literally to have it be a communal thing, to have like, you know, seriously, as much as, you know, I shit on Anthony, but Wayne and Anthony were the guys I met, you know, on the same level, starting at the same time at a shitty open mic. And you know, truly, you know, they quickly rose to the, I don't know if I would throw myself on a grenade for Wayne level friend, but I would definitely throw Anthony on the grenade to save Wayne level friendship. No, but the fact that Wayne was there, that he loves Emo Phillips, and that truly the three of us ran the queue, took the pictures, you know, and ran Emo's meet and greet line and hung out with him before, hung out with him after. I mean, that was...
I embarrassingly was able to do my bad impersonation of Emo Phillips to Emo Phillips, telling him my favorite Emo Phillips quote.
To which Emo Phillips then turns around without blinking, goes, "Is that what I sound like?"
Did I sound like that tonight?
I mean,
Yeah.
Emo did an emo impression. It was the most meta thing ever of Emo doing an emo impression for Joe based on your emo impression.
Emoception. That was
Seriously, that was such a that was a fantastic night.
right. Yeah. I mean, we also got to. I'm just going down the list of things that we had done over the course of the year. We got to see your. I don't know. Yeah, we talked about it. Obviously, your cousin Jimmy came to town and performed. And
A packed laugh Boston.
Yeah. Yeah,
He-
Jimmy Fowley.
Him and his writing partner on SNL do different. They didn't know each other. You would think they've been a comedy duo for 30 years, and they met each other 4 years ago on Saturday Night Live. They were not writing partners then. Quickly became writing partners, and ever since then, every hiatus, they tour with a different themed improv show. And she has done some solo stuff that he's been a part of. He's done some solo stuff that she's been a part of. But this was a thing they've been doing together called Friends from Work. And essentially, any other writers or, past or present SNL personalities who are in the area who want to do the show with them. And they do improv, they do some crowd work. But the highlight of the show is they pull out a bunch of their sketches that didn't make it to air, and they pull people up and they do the whole sketches.
Yeah. I mean, there was also I guess one of the sketches was I can't remember if they performed it, but it was yeah, they did perform it. Was it Mrs. Doubtfire?
It was
like a Mrs.
a
Right?
blackface Mrs. Doubtfire.
Right. Yes. And I think, but didn't we have that Jack Black did that in dress, or am I misremembering?
I don't know if it was Jack Black, but it did get cut. But allegedly, it's out there. Not
In
the
dress.
black and dress. Yes.
And it's not right. It wasn't that. It wasn't the blackface one, but it was sort of like The Voice. Like
Well, yeah, because he was a divorced dad who got back into his house to raise his kids under the guise of being their nanny. But as the absurdity progressed, it turns out, well, he was their nanny, but he was also Jamaican.
Yes.
Spoke with a very or a
he's a
Haitian
white
accent.
therein lies the irony. But yeah, so
Yeah, that was a fun.
And it was great for me to see Jimmy after 30 years. Like, I had literally not seen him in person since he graced us with his presence back in 1994 on the cable access show that we did, where he pretended to be one of our co-hosts when our co-host was running late, and neither one of us, the other co-hosts, realized that he was impersonating our regular co-host.
And that's the only reason he made it to SNL today.
Yeah. You got to start somewhere. Why not? Why not with Three Idiots? They went nowhere. And then you and I also attended the Found Footage Festival.
Oh my gosh!
tour.
Thank you. I think that was my birthday present, maybe, or
No, it was in September.
you got the tickets. I know that much. Old Theater, Brattle Theater, Harvard Square.
Yeah.
Again, went to the Veggie Grill. You know what? Of all the date nights I've had this year, I think the three best were with you, Joe.
As it should be. As it should be. Yeah, and of course you had your whirlwind tour in England, which you talked about. Yeah, I know I'm missing some big other event or thing that we did, but I think meeting Emo.
Yeah. That was it.
was-
That's what I had on my list. The other big thing. Yeah. Okay. So, a couple great comedy shows this year that I've got to be part of. But hands down, the best show of the year that I've got to be part of was a show that I produced for Eddie's Ranch. Lisa
of course.
from Eddie's Ranch. Everything about that show was perfect. Starting with Lisa from Eddie's Ranch is a dog rescue person. She's a dear friend of my wife. She's now become a dear friend of mine. She got the very expensive wheelchair for a two-legged foster that we had that absolutely led to a fantastic adoption. It's tough adopting a special needs dog for a lot of reasons, more medical costs and stuff like that. But when you're coming right out of the gate and you need a $700, $800 apparatus, it takes a lot of people out of the running. That wheelchair led to an instant adoption with a fantastic family. We just got their Christmas card. But yeah, I knew enough about, how to run fundraisers, but I wasn't 100% sure I was doing everything right. So, of course, I looped in Mike Katrobis, who runs tons of successful, like a couple a month. I got to be on some of them. Of course, I hosted it. And the opening comic, again, the very lovely, talented, much better half of the OMP podcast, Mr. Wayne Russell, crushed. And that was a fun night. We got good footage because we hired a good camera guy. But then it was headlined by another friend of Lisa's, the Queen of New England comedy, Christine Harley. So, I mean, a double headline show. The room capacity says 140. There was a little over 160 people squeezed in there. And then the next day, when Lisa did the total of the donations at the event, the raffle ticket sales, the door, everything, $11,400. So
Incredible.
It like raised a ton of money for a great person, for a great cause.
And it's nice to know that 10 of those were mine.
You know what? Yes, 100%. But I mean,
10 of those dollars.
We had a great time. You and I had a great time. I mean, it was nice. My sister was here with a couple cousins, which, for me, which was funny because I wasn't going to invite any kind of friends and family other than dragging Joe there because it was a $50 ticket, and they called me and said, hey, we just got tickets for this because they also follow Lisa on the social media. So that was a show of the year for me.
Yes, indeed. And was 2025 the year you played your first Nick's comedy stop, or was that last year? I can't recall. And I'm looking through I'm trying to look through the.
I think I did do one maybe, but this is the first one I hosted. I hosted 3 times this year. Now, I don't want to be sad on this last podcast, but Nick's is facing rough times. They had another canceled show this past Friday. I don't know if the Saturday show happened, but I know the city of Boston, there's a paperwork issue where they might be losing their liquor license, which would close the club. Yeah. It's more of a nightclub than it is a comedy club at this point. There's 2 floors, and I think 5 nights a week, both those clubs upstairs and downstairs are full-on clubs. And then on Friday and Saturday nights, in one of the 2, either upstairs or downstairs, depending on ticket sales in advance, there's that's where Nick's is. The marquee is still out there from the 80s. We always take a picture in front of it. But yeah. So
now it does say puppet show and Nick's comedy stop.
Look,
that's not a good sign.
If I've told them once, I've told them 1,000 times. A comedy show first, then the puppets. So that was moving on to other things. Joe, what were some of the I'll finish off on the comedy stuff. Personally, I met the comedy goals I had set out for myself as, and some stuff you can't control. This is the number of book shows. This is the number of different bookers I hope to work with. So, so it's not just all Mike shows, or it's not just Playhouse shows. And it was mostly Mike and Playhouse shows, but, hey, 14 under the McHugh Liam umbrella, all paid gigs, which was fantastic. But I did different mics at different places, which I want. I don't know if I actually timed it out, but I wanted to have at least 15 to 20 new minutes of material. And I think, between the substitute teacher one, I think between the new hoarders one, and a couple other, newer ones along the way. I don't know if guitar was last year, or if that was this year, or Billy Ray was last year or this year, but I've done them more this year. So pretty close, to that. So I met all the other comedy goals. Writing, nope. Failed miserably with writing sketches. Failed dismal as producing sketches. I was on pace to finish a script, but ever since London, I got sidebarred, and I haven't. I might have a right. No, I won't have a writer's draft before the end of the year. But I'll have a writer's draft pretty much in the new year. So I met a lot of the comedy goals. A lot of the comedy goals is sucking less, being a better host. I've gotten better. I got a long way to go. But that the other goal I met this year, I did meet I came close. I don't know the getting in shape. I took care of some medical stuff. I wanted to go to the doctor for the first time. I wanted to lose weight. I've done all that. I didn't have on my 2025 to-do list quadruple hernia surgery, but check that off.
And it was good that you had all the hernia surgeries done at once instead of the 4-year plan that you were having. That wasn't a good idea. All at once.
As they're putting the drip in my arm to send me off to Sleepy Land, I was going under for one. I came out and I guess they went through my pockets and found a Groupon where if they were already going in there, they could find 3 other ones and tie them together.
Remove 3, get the 4th one, remove 3.
But I did. I don't know if I will get it back, but pour one out for my belly button. Which I did. I don't know why I didn't. Well, the thing is, I didn't ask any questions. Like I had a sonogram. They're like, this is really important. You have to have this taken care of right away. 2 months later, I saw the surgeon. How important can it be? He was like, "Yep, we're gonna do X. We're gonna do Y. We're gonna do Z. I can do it on this day." I'm like, "Great." Like literally, I didn't look the guy up, no follow-up. And like I've said to Joe, and like I've said much to my management's dismay, it's like, look, I'm not suicidal. I'm not going to jump in front of a bus. I might not jump out of the way if one's coming, but I'm not going to jump in front of a bus. So I literally went under, and it upset my wife so much that I was like, yeah, I had a good run. It was a minor surgery. It was not minor surgery, but anytime they're cutting you open, putting you under, but I had a laissez-faire attitude of like, hey, if I go, nothing I can do about it, So I literally went into that thing like saying, yeah, good run.
Here lies Jacques Lambert. And why not?
Look, I checked off a couple bucket things this year. Legally changed my name finally.
Yes.
1984 is when the name Jacques was thrusted upon me against my will, much like, having drinks with Bill Cosby. It took me about why?
Go on.
I hated the name. It grew on me after the next year, and ever since pretty much 84, 85. But last year's Christmas present was the paperwork, and we had a notary who spent Christmas with us who notarized it. So, January, February, had it taken care of. So I met a lot of those goals. And again, a lot of the comedy writing goals were met because Joe, again, the two of the 3 biggest laughs I get with the Hoarders routine, 100% cleaner than a Mormon's wet dream, and finding you feel like Aladdin. Like those.
You find a lamp in a hoarder's pile, you feel like Aladdin.
You earn when you find an urn. When you find an urn, you feel like Aladdin. Fantastic. Again, I had to craft that 3-minute bit. I had to take 6 weeks of my life, move to Carson City, clean out a hoarder's house in person, deal with end of life legal paperwork and navigation, come home, painstakingly craft it like a fine pewter piece of a silverware chess set from the Franklin Mint, and then you just waltz in and say this and say this, and boom, it goes from a C+ routine to a solid B-, and it's all because of your. So again, again, thank you for the crafting. Did you meet your comedy goals this year? You went to more shows than you when you
I
had.
exceeded all my comedy goals thanks to you dragging me to all these fucking shows. But
Well,
again, meeting Emo Phillips. I mean,
Yeah, made it all worthwhile.
yeah, and I got to say hello to him again at another follow-up event.
Yeah, the next day. Didn't
Yeah.
seem like a stalker thing at all.
No, he didn't seem weirded out at all.
Uh,
No. Hey, I got out of there before security got. So that was all that mattered. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think.
Well,
it was-
I was looking at your comedy goals for 2025 list because I wrote mine down and I wrote yours down, and yours was go to no shows and do nothing. So did I meet and exceed my goals? No. Did you greatly meet or exceed your goals? Yes. I got a neat improvement on my report card. You know, you got all the star stickers you could possibly want.
It's like I always say, never try.
How you don't have to worry about failing if you never try.
Yeah. One of the and then
First you don't succeed, quit.
that's what I always say. I mean, I got tattooed. But one other thing I want to mention about our last year of podcasting is that there was one sideshow that we did quasi creatively, like one kind of produced sideshow that didn't involve an interview, and that was sitcom game show crossovers.
Holy shit.
Part 1.
You know, you're lazy. I'm chronically lazy, but I pride ourselves. The work the Carnival Personnel Sideshow team did preparing for that.
Crack research staff.
Yes or no? Hours and hours of research went into that.
I guess 2 hours would have accommodate, or that would equal hours and hours of research.
No.
Yeah.
How long did we sit in my living room
yeah.
watching those
Watching.
episodes? We 8. I'm going to say conservatively, we sat there and now you spent a couple hours loading up, the watching device.
Mm-hmm.
You made the incredulous journey down the perils of Route 3 to get to my humble abode.
Mm-hmm.
And for at least 8 hours, we sat there watching episodes of sitcoms that from the Honeymooners all the way through 227
and beyond. I would
and
say.
beyond.
Yeah, there are sitcoms in which characters themselves appeared on real life game shows. So we won't. And then when we did the recap, we only got to part 1 because we stopped, I think, in '79 with Angie when Angie went on Family Feud, and we didn't really get to the '80s.
Well,
And
well,
we sort
we're
of
going to.
teased the '80s.
Yes, we teased the 80s
maybe
because of the threefer. What did wasn't there 3? There was 2. There was 227 Wheel
were
of
3
Fortune.
227.
There was. Okay, I was right. Yeah, the trifecta of 227 Wheel of Fortune.
I
So
think they went on. I think it went on Wheel of Fortune. Maybe Jeopardy. A Love Connection was one of them. Like there was
Love Connection was yes.
Yes, and I think Family Feud. So or something like that. There were
Yeah,
like
no,
3
you got
game
it. You
shows.
got it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was. And yes. And so what I'm hearing is I dropped the ball in scheduling part 2, which that will be taken care of in Q1. In Q1, as the tech bros and the finance bros like to say, we will solidify that vertical integration in Q1.
Mm-hmm.
I now want to shoot myself for
right.
throwing out those terms. Yeah, no, that was like, and again, it was the research was so much fun. I think my favorite one was, of course, The Odd Couple.
Which one, where they went on
Password with the great Betty White.
Yes.
Yep.
And Alan Ludden.
So great that episode. Just
and with a bonus Let's Make a Deal episode with Monty Hall.
Yeah, yes, because I'm a little older, but Let's Make a Deal with Monty Hall was such a thing in my house growing up. Like it was much CTV.
Bigger than Price is Right. Yes, bigger than Price is Right.
It was a nighttime thing,
Oh right, yeah, it was like a prime time or whatever, 7 o'clock. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is midnight for a 7-year-old.
So we'll maybe yes, like as you've promised, in the next 3 months we will get round to part 2 of sitcoms on
Yeah.
game shows.
I think management next week has a excursion to the Good Coast for another Duran Duran thing. So our screening room, and the kitchen will be open, so we will make
Nice.
another night of it. Yeah, yeah. Maybe, yes, that will be great. Okay, I'm putting it in the books. Hey, let's talk TV for a second because a couple great shows. I went down the list, and I got to tell you, so Joe has his so Joe completes me. TV Guide Guidance Counselor is a fantastic podcast. Stop listening to this one, go listen to that one. But TV Guide doesn't really exist in our world anymore. There's no way you can have a TV Guide because with all the streaming things, it would be bigger than a phone book. But Joe, when I reach the end of the internet or when I reach the end of streaming, Joe says, well, check out these shows. And Joe has made 2 recommendations this year, which sent me down rabbit holes. He suggested 2 shows that I think both were in season 3. One of them, I think I watched 3 seasons of Will Trent in the matter of 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. And I think I watched Strange New World Star Trek over the course of about a month. Again, shows that were not on my horizon. I mean, I like Star Trek. No, I love Star Trek. One of my son's middle name is Tiberius. But I haven't watched all the iterations. I watched some Deep Space Nine and stuff. And I knew of this new Star Trek, but I didn't know kind of. And Joe's like, you know what? You got to look at it as a one-off. Look at each one. Some where it's really campy, some where it's this. It's kind of, an Elseworld kind of Star Trek. So, I went in with the doughy eyes optimism of a, 7-year-old sci-fi fan and found it to be delightful.
It is. I don't keep up with it as much as my wife does, but when I check in, I'm always entertained. I do like that there's like an animated episode or there's a musical episode, and they all have like reasons for them being that way.
The best one,
yeah,
they got stuck in that time loop thing, and they ended up being the 1966 version of Star Trek.
It was the in-universe version.
Yes.
Of that, so in the Star Trek universe, there was a 1960s type Star Trek show that they themselves became a part of in a weird way. So they were, in a sense, recreating but of course, this cast or this storyline is supposed to take place in the original. It's pre the original.
Correct. Yes.
Commander. This is the Captain Pike era, pre Bill Shatner, Captain Kirk. So yeah, it was very meta. There was also a fun episode with Patton Oswalt.
So if you've never seen the show, let me paint some of the beautiful absurdity. In this episode, Patton Oswalt is a sex pot. He is the the attractive. Who's the woman that he's paired up with in that? Chris, the very attractive woman, tall.
Rebecca Romaine?
Rebecca Romaine, yeah. Her and Rebecca Romaine, their storyline is they were married, but they had to get divorced because when they are in proximity to each other, they can do nothing but have relentless sex. So Rebecca Romaine cannot focus. She cannot do a job. She cannot be a functioning person because she cannot stop not lusting, thrusting after Patton Oswalt. To be clear, Patton Oswalt is the honeypot.
I wondered why it said written by Patton Oswalt. Now that answers a lot of questions.
I think it was a little inappropriate that he was also the intimacy coordinator on that episode. I thought that was a little in bad taste.
And I think that's a union thing. I don't think you're supposed to do that. But then
Juan Sanchez.
The the bonus thing on that episode is at the end, like during the credit sequence, there's this improv type interplay between Patton Oswalt and what's his name? Something Peck, Ethan Peck, who plays Spock, and it ends lovely. It's a very nice goofy ending, but anyways, we're talking too much about Strange New Worlds. I like it. I'm glad it's still on.
So I started watching like the old the old Perry Mason from the 50s. And as Joe pointed out, well, I really like it because I like procedurals and I like TV before black people were on the screen. So, it is so weird. I mean, you go episode after episode and it's in Los Angeles, late 50s, early 60s. And as a bus is going down the street, it's not a black person even on the side of the road.
Even driving.
There'd be a highway scene where there's a.
You check the backs of all the buses.
You are not a good person. No. But there's other, and then I was watching a couple other shows and I called Joe. I'm like, okay, are CBS shows getting better, or am I at the age where I like the CBS old people shows? And he goes, you know what? You like the procedurals. There's the show, Will Trent. Kind of what do you call it? Like a defective detective. You had
right. I heard it through Ken Reed from TV Guidance Counselor. Speaking of which, and he called them the defective detective genre, like Columbo and Monk. Will Trent. I guess he has dyslexia.
Severely dyslexic, like severe. And it's a kind of a fun little thing. Like during the opening credits, everybody's name is misspelled, and then the letters jumble around.
They fix themselves. Yeah.
But 3 seasons. Love it. He Georgia cop with a Cajun accent, heritage unbeknownst to him because he was an orphaned baby, like literally found in the dumpster baby. Dumpster baby. And he Family Guy there. No, is that Family Guy, the dumpster baby?
I don't remember.
Anyways, he dresses from a bygone era type thing.
You would think you would be watching Perry Mason for a second if you weren't paying attention.
And beyond stickler, like literally is ironically, he's a by the book cop who can't read the book, but he is, flawed, surrounded by a squad of very flawed, but very good people and detectives, very flawed, but very, very good. And here it's a second recommendation that Joe had made me this year. I get all excited. I'm like, I'm 2 seasons, episode 3. I'm talking to him on the phone. He's like, I've only seen it once. I thought you would like it. I'm like, oh, yes. It's like, correct.
It seemed like, from what I saw, it seemed like it was up your alley. It was your speed. And I go, you know what? You like high potential and those, which,
another one.
Again, like it's one of those shows where it's like one of those 10 o'clock shows that I still watch over the air TV at night, but I usually watch it for 11 o'clock local news, but I always have it on ABC. So whatever is running at 10:30 on ABC, I usually catch a glimpse of. And Will Trent was one of those shows, and
it was great.
I think Dr. Odyssey was another one of those shows. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I've heard of that one. Yes.
It's, I think, who the heck? Don Johnson is a doctor. It's kind of like Love Boat meets Murder, She Wrote kind of thing.
Yeah, but if Don Johnson isn't wearing sunglasses, then that's kind of it's a line. It's a line for me.
He's wearing transitions now.
Okay, all right, that's not what it is. Okay. The other 2 great shows 3 great shows that I watched this year, and much like Joe's household, I think it started with his management, but Joe has also, I'm not going to say fallen victim, but has always had a love of BBC television. So the 3 best shows that I've fallen down the rabbit hole this year. 2 of them. Slow Horses. Just so good. Another a disgraced wing of the British Secret Service
MI5.
M5. Yeah, did is fantastic. Down Cemetery Road is another flawed detective show. With great characters. And then
Drizzleton.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Okay, that's a parody on Family Guy. That's
Oh,
the new Family Guy Christmas episode has a segment where they're watching a show called Drizzleton, and it's basically like it's a gloomy detective type show that's set in England, and then the character's like, wait, are we in Drizzleton or is my name Drizzleton?
I did say, and it's a short. It was a BBC show from like 15 years ago. I just watched about a real detective from like the 1830s over there who, solved a case but got dismissed. Anyways, it was fun. So I do. But the other Apple TV show, Loot, I started watching last year with Maya Rudolph, who is amazing. Mm-hmm. She made an appearance on SNL recently, and I don't know anything that Maya Rudolph hasn't done that isn't absolutely awesome. But yeah, Loot is really good. But the new show this year that I fell down the rabbit hole that management and I watched together is Murderbot.
Oh yeah,
Murderbot is really, really, really great.
I thought you were going to say the new Apple TV show, Pluribus. Pluribus is what I'm watching now. You're muted, Jacques. But yeah, Pluribus with Vince Gilligan,
dude,
the creator of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. We talked about it. But Pluribus, they just wrapped season 1 on Christmas Eve.
Oh, did the new one? Did the latest one? Okay, because
yes.
I see if I lost it.
Yeah, it was usually on Fridays, but I guess because of the holiday, they put it on Christmas Eve. Yeah, it's great. It's a great show.
I love it. I wonder how long does it have an end date to it?
There's one season, and it like the 10th episode I think aired this week, and it's the season finale. So
okay, so
there will be a season 2.
Well, that's what I mean. It's like so Murderbot ended, and there is going to be a season 2, but had it ended, it had a fantastic ending. If it didn't come back, and I don't know if that was intentional, like when they did the show, it's based on a book, but I don't know if they knew there was going to be a season 2, and so so they ended it as if this is a one-off thing, and again, lots of stuff like that is that. So it is going to come back, but with Pluribus, I'm thinking, how long do I want that to go? Like The Good Place knew when they started that show, here's the show. He knew how it was going to start. He knew how it was going to end. He had the skeleton framework for the whole series.
Michael Schur,
who I might be the greatest TV writer of all time. Dude, look up his body of work. It's hard.
It's up there.
It's easy to make an argument for that because there's a couple other shows just recently. Management was like, "Oh yeah, that's his show." I'm like, well, "No, it can't. No, that's not." And then you look it up. It's like, "Holy shit!" He has like 8. But when he did, like Battlestar Galactica, the reboot, like Good Place, they pitched the show.
Okay, all right, time out. For a second, I thought you
said no. He had nothing to do with that.
Okay, yeah.
But those shows knew this is what we're going to do. This is how long the show's going to go. If it's the biggest hit, we're not doing a 5th season. We're telling this story, and we're going to tell it. And I hope with like Pluribus that is the case.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's Vince Gilligan. I mean, Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, 2 of the finest television programs of the 21st century, and both of them like brilliantly written. The way that the stories interweave, everything has a payoff. There's very few, if any, like plot holes or anything like that. These are tightly run ships. I think Pluribus is the same way.
So if it honestly, and I mean this, I love the show, but if Pluribus was a 2.5-hour movie, I'd be like, yep, I got it all. Like they literally could. I mean, there is a lot of meat on this bone that could be trimmed. And I'm not saying I don't like the show, but
yeah, but that's maybe that's your personal
Well, no, she's driving from Tucson, Arizona to Vegas again. And it's 3 minutes of a car montage as she's driving.
Yeah, I mean, listen, a lot of Vince Gilligan's stuff is picturesque. You know, like a lot of it isn't, you know, it's about the storytelling, but part of the storytelling is the visuals and the pacing.
Yeah,
you know?
no, I get it. But
Yeah.
that's why if you
You know,
wrapped up after next year,
did Ahsoka need to be 8 episodes? No. Does it need a second season? No. I don't know. Does it?
well, the way that Thrawn got off at the end and the way that they met up with Ezra Bridger, because what happened at the end of Rebels, see, here's
All
the
I'm
interesting
saying
no,
is
but
when I saw an abridged version, a 2.5-hour version of Ahsoka, I got it. I
yeah,
didn't have to.
100%. I get that. But that's why this story, you know, I mean, it'd be nice. Like, that's why I watched, I can't think of the name of the show. The Adam Scott show. The Adam Scott show.
Oh, Severance.
So season 1, again, slow paced, a lot of long hallway walking shots. But it was good. I was in, and the way it ended, I'm like, yeah. If there's a season 2, I'll kind of jump on board. But then it became it kind of, you know, it became a different show, and then it became a couple different kinds of shows. And I know people love it. You know, Shrinking, the same thing. The way Shrinking season 1 ended, you had to do a season 2 or you were fucking pricks. I mean, now that it's season 3 is coming out, I don't feel bad giving a spoiler. Are you going to watch Shrinking? Did you see Shrinking?
Maybe.
Okay. I will just say,
nice people out there.
Look, there was an absolute hard right turn, not in a political way. There was a hard turn, unforeseen, last scene of Shrinking season 1 that if you didn't come back, you were fucking dicks. And I got to talk to Heidi Gartner, who was in that scene, about that, and she's like, we didn't know, and I thought they were dicks if they weren't coming back. You can't do this. But again, that show, it started off one thing. It developed into different things because different character stories developed outside of the 2 kind of main ones. Season 2, Harrison Ford, fucking that motherfucker. I mean, in this role, he plays his age, and he plays a guy who is brilliant and highly regarded in his field on a national level, who struggles with things a guy his age would struggle with in real time. And how hard it is and how beautiful it is at the same time, you know. I liked it, but if it ended after season 2, I'd be fine. And that's the thing. It's like, I these shows that
you should be the CEO of Netflix because you want all these shows to end after 1 or 2 seasons.
Well, the reason Netflix shows, and I'll make it quick.
We know.
Okay. So it's a money thing. No, but like this story, it's a very big world pluribus story, but it has one problem that has to be solved. There's really only one problem that needs to be solved.
Kinda. Yeah, it is right. There's the problem that needs to be solved, which you know going in. Like, it's kind of like once you know what the problem is, then it's just like, okay, how do they solve the problem? And it's will they solve the problem? And and the journey, like how will they solve the problem? How do these different pieces of the puzzle come together? Yeah, and a lot of it, if you watch it in real time, is about the tedium. Like
yes.
It's meant to like drag you along and also kind of question like is what they're trying, like what is the right answer here?
Right.
Like is what's happening okay or is it not okay?
I think it's one of those stories where there's no villain. There's just different perspectives.
Right, exactly. Like, well, that's Breaking Bad. Like you're rooting for the bad guy.
You're rooting for the bad guy. Well, but you come to realize, yeah, he's a dick. Like when you find out, wait a minute, your ego, you left this company. You could have had all the fame and fortune, but your ego, you left, and you hold a resentment to these people who begged you not to leave to split the riches with them, and then in your time of need, they beg to help you out, and you turn them down because of hubris again.
Yeah.
And they're the bad guys. But yeah, so there's no bad guy in it. It's just different. But the best part here it is. The hands down best part of Pluribus is all these shameful, unabashed cameos from A-list celebrities that make perfect sense. That absolutely make perfect sense.
Yes, and they're all on board, and it's very
John
good.
Cena, when John Cena.
Well, you know, we don't want to spoil everything for everybody out there who haven't seen Pluribus, but yes, John Cena's in it.
But the screen cap, like when you turn it on, like it's his picture. So
yeah, true, right, right. If you're gonna look at it, you're gonna see it. But but then there's also like the little like not so obvious cameos, like the voice on the phone during the message.
Yeah,
is a previous actor from a previous series that's related to one of the actors on this series. So it's kind of like, oh, okay, and you don't know that unless you like really paying attention, or if you watch the behind the scenes stuff.
The other Michael, what is his name? Who wrote the show? Who wrote The Good Place?
Michael Schur.
Michael Schur. His new show. Speaking about cameos, Man on the Inside.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Man with Ted Danson. And anyways, an uncredited cameo by Christian Bell, who I guess Michael Schur has her do an uncredited cameo in everything he's ever done.
Oh wow!
Like they love each other, and it's like she did a credited cameo in The Good Place, being the main star of the show, but when you talk about cameos, anyways,
you know
that's a fun
Man on the
one too.
Inside. I think it popped. I think it's like it's come across my consciousness, but I haven't really like zeroed in on that. Oh, that's a Ted Danson show that is written by Michael Schur that I should probably watch.
Another investigation procedural show, as us old people in front of CBS, like, hey, you still watch it?
Right. Hi out there. Yeah. So okay, maybe I'll check out A Man on the Inside. Finally, just to recap stuff that we're talking about in TV and movies. I did watch Spinal Tap 2 in light of, I don't think we talked about it.
We haven't.
The Rob Reiner loss.
I'd like to do a Rob Reiner sideshow at one point, but not now.
Oh no, I mean that's too soon, as they say. Or,
I mean, I'm not sure I'm ready to do the Phil Hartman one yet.
You know what? I don't think anybody is really. But speaking of that, I had to, in honor of him, watch Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues. And you know what? I watched it twice. I watched it once on my own and then once with my wife. And there are laughs. There are laughs in the movie.
So I fought watching it, but because of your review, I am going to do it.
Yeah, don't go into it like you're checking in on these folks.
So
this is not new. This is Spinal Tap.
So the guy who gave me my name, Jacques, was my goalie on a junior team. A guy, Daryl Waugh from Sarnia, Ontario. Probably, arguably the best goalie I've ever played with who didn't go to the show, but that's because he decided he wanted to not. Like, he was one of those guys. If he wanted to go that route, probably. Anyways, but he's a lawyer. Anyways, really great guy. In our senior year of high school, every single day, and I mean every day for 365 days, we watched Spinal Tap together. We got together every day. And if we didn't watch it a day here or there, we would definitely watch it the next. And also, we got together on Thanksgiving through Christmas Eve and watched It's a Wonderful Life every day. So Spinal Tap, we used the girlfriends we had at the time we used to talk and tap. We would not have conversations at like you and I do with like references here and there. Our language was just that, and if there was an accent thrown in, it would have been a George Bailey. An aside. So I've always loved that movie. It's always meant the world to me. I'm finding out these fun facts, like, and Princess Bride, the hat that Marty DeBurgi wears in Spinal Tap is hanging on Fred Savage's wall behind him.
Yeah.
Did not know that fun fact. That's fun. But yeah, I will definitely watch Spinal Tap 2 because you have promised me it's not Superman 4, it is not Slapshot 2, it is not The Godfather 3. Movies that they were smart enough to not make, but had they would have been really bad.
Died on the vine. Those sequels did. No, this one's fine. And again, in light of recent events, it's even more poignant.
Okay, I will definitely give it a watch. Maybe I got a lot of time, gentlemen. I have a lot of time.
A lot of free time.
Any gaming stuff, or you want to wrap up? The year in games.
PlayStation 5. I almost did. I had it in my hand. I was walking through last minute Christmas shopping, and and there was a pallet of PlayStation 5s at the Best Buy, and I go, I still, something in me, of course, me being a man child who never grew up and has developmental issues, wants to have that opening video game Christmas experience. Like that big thing. But when I had the PlayStation 5 in my hand, I'm thinking about the reality of it. Okay, it is more expensive than a regular console, even now in its 4th year of existence, or 5th, I think.
Yeah.
It's the library, the exclusive PS5 library isn't that extensive that I'm
It's not.
clamoring for. So I'm like, what am I buying this for? And I mean, I have a very good Xbox Series X that I literally have not turned on in probably 3 months. And this PlayStation 5 is large, and I do not have literally any space to put the PlayStation 5 were I to have purchased it. So I think smartly put it down. And just the feeling of having it in my arms for that moment, I think, was the Christmas opening the gift experience that I needed. That's just that fix. I had it, and it was tangible, it was there, and I looked at it, and I even had a second controller box alongside it, and I'm like, fuck, I don't need this shit anymore. So I just put it down and I walked out. And
good for you, man.
I think I'm richer for it.
No, well, yes. Yeah, about $600 richer without the extra controller. Yes.
Yeah, no, it was like $450 on sale, and it was the disc one. It was not the digital one. It was the disc one, but still, I have a PlayStation 4, which is nice. I have an Xbox Series X. We have a Switch 2, thankfully, for some magical reason.
Christmas isn't just December 25th, Joe.
You're right. It's all year round. It's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year.
It's like the jam of the month.
Oh, the jelly of the month.
Jelly of the month club.
Yes. But yeah, as far as that's good, yeah. So the gaming stuff, I don't know. It's been kind of bleh lately. I don't know. Maybe I'm growing up. Maybe I'm just getting bored, or maybe I'm I've talked about this before. I've become too lazy to play games.
Yeah. I'm too lazy to fish. I'm watching fish.
I got a fishing tape. But you're going to be super jacked up in a couple of months because RE9 is coming out. Resident Evil 9 will be out in February.
That is literally one of those things where, depending on how things time out, I will drop off the grid for 3 or 4 days.
Right.
Like literally, it will be, am I bragging? Yeah, maybe a little, where I will play that 12, 15 hours and I will not go to the net and try to figure anything out. I will literally, slowly make whoever the antagonist is or protagonist, walk up each step slowly, because sometimes every 7th step, if you could just turn your head just 90 degrees to the right, or you touch this thing on the wall, or the puzzle solving and all that stuff. Yeah. Because it's been a few years.
Dived into, yeah, you're right.
You know what? Yeah. I want to be the one that gets, so happens every few years. A Batman one. Those are it. Those are the games I play. That's it. I don't have an interest in playing any other game. You
don't need it. I mean,
Resident Evil, Batman.
You just did a podcast with
Yep.
Anthony.
No, piece of shit wasn't there. It was just me and Wayne.
Oh no, it was it.
Just
Yes,
me and
Anthony
Wayne.
Jr. was not there. It was just Wayne Russell and you on the OMP podcast, Open Mike Pain, which now they converted over to
YouTube.
Just YouTube, but they also they've since uploaded their stuff to audio. So if you want to listen to people play video games and talk about stuff, you can do that.
It was
as well.
super fun. It was so, and the
You
way
got to
he
play
ended
Resident
it.
Evil 5 with them.
No.
They got to play with you.
Thank you. and if you watch that podcast about 4 minutes, it's just so pathetic. You know how it's like it's just pathetic all around.
I got to watch it.
But it was fun. The last couple minutes, yeah, it's worth tuning into the last couple minutes at least because Wayne threw a little something special in there for me that I was not expecting him to do. Anyways,
nice.
yeah. So the gaming thing was I have that to look forward to. As far as sport goes, again. Okay, let's see. I know the Dodgers won in Game 7 because Biff broke that down, and that sounds amazing.
Mm-hmm.
The Game 7 of the World Series was won in extra innings. The Eagles won the World Series, and I'm trying to think who. The Eagles didn't win the Super Bowl last year?
Oh, no, they didn't win the World Series.
World Series. They won the Super Bowl. They beat Kansas City.
Mhm.
Kendrick Lamar did the halftime show, yes. And then 3 months later, I took my sons to see, 4 months later, we saw Kendrick Lamar at Gillette Stadium. The first Gillette Stadium concert I've ever been to, it was fucking amazing. Last Gillette Stadium concert I ever will go to, it was fucking amazing. It just took 3.5 hours to get out of the parking lot. I'm good. Like, honestly, I wish I had gone to Oasis, but I'm also don't think I could have done that. Anyways, so I'm thinking what else happened to sport. Don't know who won the NBA thing, but I know Man City, won won the Premier League last year. I know
Who won the Stanley Cup?
PSG. Tampa Bay win it?
I think so.
I think so. Okay.
It was over the Leafs.
Over the Leafs.
In 7 games.
So the Leafs were in the Stanley Cup last year. They are out of the playoffs. They are last place in the NHL. They just fired their coach the day before Christmas, which is one of the most Leaf things you could be doing. Going from first to last is such a Leaf thing, but also firing the coach on Christmas Eve is also one of the big Leaf things you can do. Also, as far as sport goes, I'm not getting sucked down in the rabbit hole, but I follow a couple comedy NFL creators on Instagram, and I guess Drake May is doing great. But at the same time, I guess their strength of schedule. I think Wilmington High School JV team was on the schedule this year at one point. I mean, they've won a couple good games, but they've also won games against.
I mean, it helps when you come into the league or come into the season sucking.
Yes. But he's developed as a QB.
Yeah.
I guess Mike Vrabel is making some really good, surprising coaching decisions. Like, why is he doing that? But what little I know about Mike Vrabel, and even when he was with the Tennessee Titans, he's kind of one of those thinks a couple chapters ahead kind of guys. It's like, why are you going for a 2-point conversion now type thing? Because, how many times the other team might get the ball back, and if you can have a 15-point score now, they have to score 3 times, like type thing,
He's
so
thinking fourth dimensionally.
He really is. He really is. I guess what's upsetting a lot of people around the NFL isn't that the Patriots are doing well, isn't that the Patriots have possibly, we're still a little early, that possibly have another franchise quarterback, is that they're likable, that he's friendly in interviews, that he answers questions. Both the coach and the quarterback are likable, entities.
Mm-hmm.
I also, it's upsetting a lot of people that New England fans should be upset that Mac Jones didn't work out here, but is killing it in San Francisco. It's like, usually when you get rid of a quarterback who goes somewhere and does phenomenally well, you get to mock the team that gave up on him early, but they don't get to mock us for giving up on a guy who went on to do well somewhere else. But I will say, what little I follow the NFL, to wrap it up, well, in London. I did get to see the Arsenal Stadium. I love European football. I really do, because I'm not emotionally tied to any of it. Like, I like this team to win, but if that team wins, there's a couple guys on that team I like. I'm not getting sucked up into the World Cup because of the ticketing thing and the bullshit between, with
The politics.
with the politics of it. But I had an amazing, once again, last year I had an amazing time. This year I had an amazing time in an LAFC game. Like, if I moved back to LA, I would be an LAFC season ticket holder. Those, the parking is $60, but the ticket per game is $25. So, I would be an LAFC game and take public transportation. But I will end on the Christmas or the year-end wrap-up in sports. It's good to know the Jets are the Jets, on field and off. Earlier this year, it came out that the National Football League Players Association do an internal poll every year where each player on the teams rank their teams, not against other teams, but their team. Ownership, the facilities, the practice facilities, the meals on the road, the hotels. Like, they do a ranking of how the team treats players from a player's perspective. Their medical facilities and all of that stuff. And I guess for the umpteenth year in a row, the Jets have finished dead last. And the owner of the Jets, Woody Johnson, heir to the Johnson & Johnson fortune, has appealed to the Commissioner of Football, who does not oversee this, and has appealed to federal courts trying to get these things banned, which you can't do. But where he was an ambassador to Ireland in the last administration, he does wield some political power. He has gone to higher sources. Could I make my facilities better? Could I treat the players better? Sure. But instead, he wants...
I'd rather pour my money and efforts and resources into banishing the polling of teams and grading their ownership's treatment of these teams.
So we recently, a few weeks ago, had the 15th anniversary of the butt fumble, which, I reminded the wife about that.
I think I saw like a fake commercial online for like a fake toy of the butt fumble, like the action figure version of the butt fumble.
So
entertaining.
One funny thing and one tragic thing in regards to the butt fumble. About a month before the 15th anniversary of the butt fumble, Mark Sanchez was involved in a late night altercation in which he ended up going to the hospital, the victim of a stabbing. And I say victim because he pulled the gun on somebody who then stabbed him. Usually, you brought a knife to a gunfight. This was against the New York Jets. So in that case...
Right, I guess right. When the Jets play knifey versus gun,
and they have the gun,
knifey beats gun.
And I guess yes. And he's since lost his commentator job. It was a drunken altercation in a nightclub the day before he was supposed to be at the studio at 8 a.m. for a pregame, taping, and wound up getting stabbed when he pulled a knife on a bouncer of a club he got thrown out of. Yes. But and of course they're in last place of their division. They might be in the last place of the AFE. But the most Jets of the Jets thing to end the year
2025
is the Jets have coming up this week at this game a $100,000 kick a field goal challenge. In which names were picked by
somebody on the team. Like
no,
if you can, if the Jets can get a field goal, they get $100,000.
No, if you kick the field goal, you play on the Jets and you get a contract. But I will say, so some Jets podcasters like super fan and there's this one woman, like fireman, the Jets fireman guy who always shows up, and he's a very prominent. If you saw him, you would know him. He's been a fixture at Jet games for 25 years. Well, there's also a super fan at every game, all Jets out, face painted. she wasn't really a big Jets fan, but kept the tradition going from her dad who passed away. So she is known to the Jets community. She is at every game. She is now a diehard fan. She's a Jet for life. They invited her to
Once
be
you're
part
a
of
Jet, you're a Jet all the way.
You know, from your first cigarette to your last dying day. This brought to you by two alleged straight guys doing musical theater.
I don't know if you can hear me. I'm snapping. But
I'm crouched over doing the dance, the slow sneaking up on dance. Yes, allegedly two cis heterosexual guys doing show tunes. But they invite this super fan. Well, in light of a controversy this woman has become embroiled in, they have since rescinded the offer to come out. It turns out that this woman has had the audacity to be a high school soccer coach and soccer player 20 years ago in college. They decide, well, we can't have her come out. She might actually make the field goal.
oh my God.
And they rescind the offer. And instantly people are like, somebody has to let Pat McAfee know. She has to get on the Pat McAfee show. Instantly. It's like, yes, they decide, oh, she's a super fan. She's a girl. She's honoring her dad. We have to have her come out. Wait, she might make it?
Right. Now, do they instead they gave it to like a Make-A-Wish kid who's in a wheelchair?
Right. No, actually, what they did is they somehow got a real life embodiment of Charlie Brown, and to kick the field goal, it will be helped by Lucy. Which would be the most Jet thing to do. Like, you know, a super fan kicking the field goal, Jets management. So literally, it's like, what? Look, dude, the bad publicity alone cost you more than $100,000.
Right.
And
the Jets were putting up this $100,000. They weren't getting sponsorship money. Like what?
They probably were, but there was probably, you know, page 81, subsection B, paragraph E, you know, sentence 4. The insurance rider will not cover if it's a 41-year-old former college soccer player turned high school coach.
So there's something in the rule books that says former football coach can.
Especially if they're an elephant. Yeah, you know, I guess in light of an elephant striking out, you know, the murderer's
the rule
row.
books that say an elephant can't kick. But in this case, are they going to get a field goal kicking mule? Like that movie from Disney from the 60s.
I mean, so as I'm going to put on my MBA consultant hat, and
NFL?
And I would sit down. Fuck the NFL. You know, yes, Masters in Business Administration.
Oh, thank you. I thought I was mishearing.
And I would sit down, you know, the old white men in the smoky back room and say, okay, let's walk through this. She kicks a field goal. Do you know the branding that you can now do? Because it is a she who kicked the field goal. The outreach you can do to the she's of the world. Now you're outreaching. You know, soccer is played in this stadium every summer. Last summer, my son saw Manchester United play Arsenal in that stadium. Now you're outreaching to soccer fans. Say, hey, look at the correlation. Sure, you're a high school soccer player now, but maybe you're a Jets kicker tomorrow. Or, you know, literally, like that used to be a thing. Like in the 80s, late 70s, there was a huge wave where the football kickers from Europe and Brazil were coming over being football kickers here. Just the marketing that you could have done on the back of this. Like she could have been you don't have the poster child Jet person. Well, now she is it. She becomes, hey, what a great story. The lady who wasn't really a Super Jets fan, but kept her dad's tradition alive, who loves our franchise, is now part of the franchise. Like you could have, but even if she makes it, even if you pay out that $100,000, the free marketing, because she would have been on the Today Show the next morning. She would have been on Stephen Colbert Monday night. Like she literally would have. Here, you are a joke of an organization, and this is your one bright spot. The goodwill. You would have had her on the Pat McAfee show wearing a Jets jersey, talking about what a great experience it was, and they would have had a kicker-to-kicker talk. Now they're having...
Yeah, but then if they did that, Woody Johnson would have had to hear from Trump, complaining that now girls are kicking field goals in the NFL.
Maybe that's it. But literally, from a marketing standpoint, you had a no-lose situation. You brought a knife to a gunfight situation, and you lost because you got stabbed. It is the most New York Jets thing to end the New York Jets year. And I guess Jets, somebody had, this is great. Jets, just end the season. It's like all these years, it was right there. It was right there. Yeah. But yes, that wraps my sports thing for the year. If you unlikely have a sports reference you want to pull out of the abyss, No,
I don't have anything sports related to say. I used to watch sports, and now I don't.
Then we're on to parenting tips to end the year.
I used to be a parent, and now I'm not. I've given up parenting. My younger son, just turned 20 this year.
Did he turn 20? Shit.
2005. Yeah, 20 years old. So now that they're no longer teenagers living amongst us at the Lorenco house, I am no longer considering myself a parent. That's right. I've solved myself of the little responsibility I had before. Now that's even no. I know. I unfortunately I do parenting things, but I don't. Those are my tips. I'm not. I suppose you'd like me to share my tips with all the world, not with my parenting tips. Now take this, Jacques Lambert, who sits around all day on his brains.
Here's a parenting.
He comes on here, and we give them a parenting tip. Now, what do you have to offer?
This is a very reflective tip that I've learned this heart lesson time and time again. And maybe this is a parenting tip in the way of a cautionary tale. As I said, my son's a little dismayed, disheartened by the gift of $25 plus $100 in new mattresses for 2 mattresses.
Did you keep the last S off for savings?
I did. You know what? But here's the biggest problem, and I've learned this time after time, is like I jokingly already said, Christmas is year-round with us. So the problem is, my parenting tip is, I'm really great to them all year. They get shit year-round. They've had 2 trips, all expense-paid trips to Los Angeles, season passes at Universal.
A new car.
It's not new, but a new car to him. Yes.
I just wanted to say it in the game show voice.
But he did. So when Christmas comes around, it's just another day of being showered. So my parenting tip is the other 364 days, you tell them, get off your ass and get a job. Oh, I'm 6. you know what that?
I'm only 4.
I'm only 4. That was it. I knew I was shooting too high. I'm only 4. Yes, you have to take Frankie baby's father's advice and walk in on Christmas Eve and hand them what in today's market would be $100 piece of veal, and then take a nap on the couch, and tell them to fuck off, because by the time Christmas rolls around, you had Christmas at least once a month for the last 12. So these jaded, spoiled, entitled, dripping with white privilege children are like, oh, new mattresses. Thanks. So my parenting tip is stop being so good to your kids so that, look, remember the first time your dad hugged you when you were like 16? Well, he tripped over that thing in the floor and he fell forward, but his arms threw themselves around you and you told yourself that was a hug.
Remember when your dad broke his fall? I mean, I'm sorry, when you broke your dad's fall. God damn it. I'm blowing these lines.
Lucky lines.
Hi-oh.
But yes, but you told yourself that this is what a hug must feel like, and you go back to that happy place in times of woe, every day of your life when you wake up. So that's what it should be. My parenting tip is stop being so good to your children. So in those rare moments of kindness, look, the reason you stop banging your head on the wall is it feels good when it stops.
Yes.
That's how you have to parent. Hit your kids so when they don't get hit, they're appreciative.
This parenting tip brought to you from 1977.
My dad had one of those reversible belts. Like on one side it was brown and on the other side was a belt. But seriously, every year they're like, "Oh yeah, this is good. Is that it?" Like, you know what I mean? It's like, "Oh, okay." And I should have learned this lesson. He's 88 years ago. A friend, when we were in LA, we were staying in LA, has a birthday at a similar time. Took him to a Disney-themed hotel overnight, one of those cool-themed hotels, Disney-themed pool. They got the hour extra early in the park during the day, getting all these pictures where bought him this Jack Sparrow hat, which I texted back, take a picture of him wearing it. Don't buy it. He will never wear it again. Don't spend the $120. Got it. Take a picture of this treat. Take a picture. And then at like 9 o'clock at night, as they're getting ready to leave the park, says, "Oh, he wanted this 27th treat." I'm like, "No, he's had enough sugar. He's fine. Tell him I said no." This person drives him. We meet them in the lobby of the hotel. We see the truck pull out. We go outside. He gets out of the car. How was the last 30 hours of all expense paid trip? Wearing the new shirt, wearing that hat, holding a lightsaber. She wouldn't buy me that ice cream as we were leaving the park. That's the only thing he said. The only thing he mentioned was the one thing. In the last 30 hours, he heard 614 yeses. He heard one, "Well, no, but here's the really great reason why." And that is the one thing that bastard held on to, the tram ride back to the parking structure, the 10-minute walk to the car, the hour drive home. He couldn't wait to get out of the car and tell his parents how this fucking monster wouldn't get him that last thing. And did I take that lesson forward the next 18 years? No. So when he gets the mattresses delivered the day before Christmas, when he opened the X, the Y, and the C, and by X, I mean the Xbox, the Y. I mean,
why did I give him so many presents?
Right. Literally, it's like, so my parenting tip is if you're a good parent who are nice to your children throughout the year, they won't remember that on Christmas morning. So don't fucking do it. Don't do it.
Save it till the end. Right.
Yeah. Okay. How about a little Christmas in June for, your papa? No.
Yep. I you know what? For once I agree with you. For once I agree with that awful parenting tip. Yes. That's what I'm going to remember that and keep it with me all the year. They said remember Christmas and try to keep it all the year to Scrooge. I'm remembering that parenting tip and keeping it in my heart the whole year. Well, this sure was a fun 2-hour ride down memory lane. We only talked about the highlights, by the way, pretty much the highlights of 2025 from the Carnival Personnel Podcast perspective. That that was a mouthful. We did a lot of talking about TV towards the end, sport that, maybe you can edit down, but why bother? People have free will. They can tune out. They can not listen. They can fast forward if they want. They can skip. Stop now, right? You going to stop? No? Okay. You're listening. All right. But I do want to say thank you for listening for these 8.5 years of Carnival Personnel. We We'll be back in 2026 with more hilarity, more tales of comedy and attempts at comedy, more talk of travel around the world. You wouldn't mind you wouldn't mind going around the world and taking your wife to a lot of fancy places. You know what? Side note, I fell asleep this year watching It's a Wonderful Life alone. Yeah, I started it like around 9:30 or so, and then I paused it, went downstairs, watched something else with my wife, because I'm not watching It's a Wonderful Life in front of my family because they don't need to see men cry. They just don't. And then by the time I went back upstairs and restarted it, right around the time Clarence comes into, into George's life, I zone out. I had to complete the movie in my mind the next morning. But yeah, that was, a first for me. I usually make it all the way through the tolls, no stopping, but this time I couldn't make it. I didn't watch Scrooged this year. I didn't watch Christmas Vacation this year. I did watch some Christmassy type stuff, but I didn't hit all the classics. But you know what? The year isn't over yet. I can still make up for lost Christmas, which I plan to do this weekend, and maybe up through the new year. And New Year's Eve, we'll be watching The Three Stooges in my house for the annual Three Stooges. The three out of the four of us will be watching The Three Stooges in our household. You can guess which female person will not be watching the Three Stooges with the rest of us. But we're going to do it. We're going to keep the TV38 tradition alive of watching the Three Stooges marathon on New Year's Eve. And then, we're just going to lather, rinse, repeat 2026. It's going to be same shit, different year. No, wait, I'm sorry. I'm just getting word. Entirely new shit. This will be brand new shit coming your way, world, in 2026. So be ready. Just be ready. Try to make the most of it. All right. And don't be like me. Don't do what Joe does. That's my parenting tip. Do not do anything you hear or see Joe do. Even the good stuff, avoid. Don't watch Pluribus. PU. Not big waste of time. Don't have a podcast. Oh, that's a tip that you can take to the bank. He's got control of the banks. Potter isn't selling, Potter's buying. And why? Because we're panicking and he's not. We can get through this. We just got to stick together. Where am I? I just had a fugue state there. What the hell happened? All right, I'm back. Here I am. I'm on a podcast with you folks. Wrapping up the year, saying goodnight, saying auf Wiedersehen, adieu, Gesundheit, all the words that aren't English. I'm certainly not going to not do the podcast in 2026. Jacques doing math. It'll take him another year to figure out what I just said. And by then I'll be gone, baby. No, I don't know what's happening. Who knows? Who knows what's happening? I guess I'm going to stick with it. I don't have many friends, and this is my only lifeline to sanity, really. Sadly, this is my lifeline to reality. Like, yes, I have a job, whatever. Yes, I have a family. Okay. But my free time otherwise is spent down. You talk about rabbit holes. There are dead rabbits in this hole that I'm in. These are dead rabbit holes. There haven't been live rabbits in these holes in 40 years. And these are the holes that I'm going down on YouTube, these, 80s commercials. And, I spent an hour, I spent an hour watching today, a supercut of Christmas special promos from the 80s and 90s. Why? It's not 1993. It's 2025. I should be watching things about the future, things of the now, things of the right now. Instead, I'm back there. That's why I fail. That's why I fail at life. No, that's not why I fail at life. There's a whole other series of reasons why I fail at life. One of which is I don't know when to stop talking at the end of a podcast. It's called rambleitis, and I have it. I'm doing it now. I just, I don't know how to quit you folks, is what I'm saying. I don't want to go. I'm like the guy who stays at a friend's house until 2:30 in the morning watching old TV shows. You know what? Just go. Just, why are you still here? Just leave. Go home. That's what I should do. But I can't. I'm not. Jacques going to have to edit the ending to make it so that I stop talking. Because I'm not going to. It's already past the 2-hour mark. Gosh darn it. Joe, stop, please. Let these people go. Let my people go. I really should say goodnight. And a happy new year. It's been a listen, all jokes aside, it's been a pretty shitty year, but there's hope. Please. Like that's all we got, right? That's all we got left is like, maybe things will be better next year. Maybe things will change. Maybe events will happen, maybe what happened to certain people this year will happen to certain people next year. What does that mean? What are you talking about? How dare you? What are you saying? Nobody knows. That's the way I like it. That's the way I like to keep it. Vague, creepy, ominous, malfeasance, misappropriation of funds. As a stockholder of the savings and loan, I'm swearing out a warrant for your arrest. Go ahead, run. You can't hide in a little town like this. Hi, Phil. This is Kotter. Don't forget.
Sorry to get started.
Wasn't that lonely? She was only waiting for the Cosby Show to go away. And Tammy's not bad when she's giving her. She first wakes up and when she goes to bed. But in between she's got all these things to say. She put it up on a pedestal, Cracker Jack fries. Flies along with Kid. If you got the pick and the torchlight helmet, you're not too quick, you're not too eloquent. You could be the first one in. You could be the first big disappointment. Where did the bad days go? They crawl between her legs. Each night's a brand new start, and each one's a brand new play. And I'm just drunk enough to think that this whole scene could be